Welcome all. In this video, we are going to understand about what is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and the software as a service. These all concepts we have briefly touched when we were discussing about shared responsibility model. Now, what we are going to do in this video, we are going to look at the in-depth understanding of these services and how it fit in the context of the other offerings. Now, before going and understanding this concept, let us briefly touch what is the difference between the type of the cloud model and the type of the cloud services. So we have seen there is a cloud models available. These are the public, private, and hybrid. Now again, we are looking at some of the cloud services are available. These are infrastructure as a service, PaaS, and the SaaS. Now how they both fit with each other. Now if we try and look at both side by side, compare it side by side, we'll get confused. Like one type, the cloud is saying they have some models, another way they are saying they have some services. So what the confusion is. So in order to understand this and clarify it, let us look at it. First of all, we have a cloud models. These are the public, private, and the hybrid. So whenever we are starting with any of the offerings of the cloud provider, we have to go and first select the model where we will be operating. Now let it be a private cloud, let it be public cloud, let it be a hybrid cloud. Suppose we have selected a public cloud as an offering from the CSP, cloud service provider. Now under that, we have some services. These are nothing but the cloud services which they offer. They offer infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Now again, if we go and reverse it, and instead of the public cloud we have selected a private cloud, okay, so there also we'll have the cloud services. They are nothing but these three services: PaaS, infrastructure, PaaS, and SaaS. Again, if you apply it with the hybrid, same concept. So hybrid, first the hybrid has been selected, and then these three models will apply accordingly. So now it's clear, very much clear, like how these two confusing terms fit together. That is the cloud models and the cloud services, how they fit and align with each other. Now, so when we talk about these services, cloud services, in other way we can say they are the service deployment model, and the label will depend on how you choose the specific controls over the information and the type of the services that is provided by the cloud service provider. So we will start here with the infrastructure as a service. So this is the most basic category of the cloud computing services, and what we do here is that we'll rent the IT infrastructure such as the metal box servers, the VMs, the storage, okay, the networking, the OS from obviously from the cloud provider. And the different models, the most popular is a pay-as-you-go basis. So the benefit is that these are the instant computing infrastructure, and they are provisioned and managed over the internet. As we have already discussed, these are basic definitions carried away with the cloud computing in, and this will be carried away in all the offerings. That is instant computing, provisioning, and managed over the HTTP, over the wire, over the internet, right? Now we're going to see some of the characteristic. Now we're going to see some of the infrastructure as a service characteristics. So these are the upfront cost. So infrastructure as a service has no upfront cost. So the user has to pay only for what they consume. The next comes who is the owner, the user ownership. So the user is responsible for the purchase, installation of any of the software, the configuration and fine-tuning of the software operating system, the management of their middlewares and applications. So these all things, since the control is, most of the control is with the user, so the user is responsible for managing all those things. Now we have cloud provider ownership. The CSP is responsible for ensuring that the underlying the cloud infrastructure, whatever it is that has been requested by the user, let it be the VM, storage, or networking, is available for the user and is not down, so the user can do all the configuration and customization that he needs. Now again, the question is where we should go and use the infrastructure as a service of services offering from the CSP. These will be mostly used for migrating the workload. Now, in a typical situation, what happens is that a customer is in on-premise environment. Infrastructure as a service facilities are managed in a similar way the on-prem infrastructure is managed, and this provides an easy migration path for moving from existing application to the cloud. Some are called as lift and shift without any code change another way. So this gives a comfortable zone for the customer to go and try out the cloud offerings. Now the second is this is the one benefit they're migrating a workload. Second comes like testing and development. The teams can quickly set up and dismantle the test and development environments, bringing new application to the market faster and with more innovation. The infrastructure as a service makes scaling development testing environment up and down fast and economically. So in other words, we can say that a tester can set up some environment based on its execution need. A developer can have a configuration freezed at some place and they can dismantle at the end of their work shift, and tomorrow again when they're coming, since configuration is already available, they will quickly provision in 1 or 2 minutes and deploy the configuration and get running with their development activity. So the concept is fast uptime and down, means quickly dismantling and allocation based on the need. Now the third point that comes like storage, backup and recovery kind of scenario. So under this, an organization can avoid a capital expenditure or complexity of the storage management, the skill gap and all those things, which typically requires more skilled staff to manage the data, meet their legal and compliance requirement. So now what happens is that infrastructure as a service is useful for managing unpredictable load. As always, it provides demand fluctuation, right, and steadily growing storage need. So it can also simplify the planning and management of the backup as well as recovery system. So we have seen the three scenarios. First is the migration of the workload. Second, how it facilitates the tester and the development team in order to build up and dismantle their environment. Third, how it helps the storage, the backup and the recovery team. Now, when using infrastructure as a service, ensuring that a service is up and running is a shared responsibility, which we have already discussed in the previous session. So in the cloud computing, the cloud provider is responsible for ensuring the cloud infrastructure is functioning correctly and without any downtime or under the SLA which they have defined. The cloud customer is responsible for ensuring the service they are using is configured correctly and is up to date and is available to their customer, like to our clients. Thank you all. So in the next session, we are going to understand in the continuation of this, what is the PaaS and SaaS offering, and at the end you have a quiz. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe and have an engaged learning. Thank you.